Hello everyone, it's Marina with Creative Candy for You. Thank you so much for stopping by. This is my second video of the day today, and I went ahead and did a video on skin tones and skin combinations, and now I'm bringing those images back, and we are going to be doing some hair combinations. So thank you so much for coming back, and I hope you enjoy this video. We're going to get started now. And the very first image that we're going to color is this little gal right here. My combination of choice for her is going to be E31, see here, E44, and E49. We only have 3 colors for her color combination, and E31, E44, and E49. And I will be sharing all this information in the description below, so not to worry, you don't have to keep track. So to get started, I do like to map out what I call map out my hair, and it helps me with the direction of the hair. So I will start with the E31, and I will be drawing some lines, some strands, in the direction that the hair is falling, and the artist here has provided us with some lines here. Again, today I am coloring in the hair for some of my favorite stamps. These stamps are from the Greeting Farm, and these are digital stamps that you can download automatically. So if you'd like to purchase these and color along with me as well, I will be linking the digital stamp sets where you can get these images in the description below. So you can go ahead and just follow along with me today, or you can go ahead and print them out and color along as well. So the first thing, as I said, I'm mapping out my hair, and I'm going to decide based on the lines that the artist has provided for us how the rest of the hair will fall. And I'm going to pull with very light strokes these hair strands all along her hair. Sometimes I choose to flick away from me, and sometimes it's easier for me to flick towards me. It is up to you what works best for you. Right now I'm not too worried as to the exact placement. It's just helping me follow the lines and the placement for the next colors. Okay, we're just following these lines. Hope you can see that. And we're adding some strands into her hair. Okay, and this is the E31, the lightest color we'll have for this color combination. And then right here, we're going to have some streaks going down. These are the highlights in her hair. Some hair strands going up, some going down, meeting somewhere in the middle. And that is the first layer of color. The next layer, we're going to be using the E44, and we're going to do the same thing. Now I do like to mark the areas where there will be a shadow, and I like to add a little bit of the darker color in those areas first. And then I will be adding the rest of the strands. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to follow the same lines that we created in the beginning. So we're going to pull some of those, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the exact place that the other strands fell on. We're just adding more hair strands basically. more color in here, giving this image more depth. And we're just pulling that color towards this highlighted area in the middle of the hair, following the lines that we've already created. Okay, flicking either up or down, whatever works best for you. I do like to find, and like to turn my image, as it helps me curve that hair and follow the pattern of the hair. Okay, I hope you can see that. And then now we're working on this side and pulling the hair towards the left side, following again the pattern of the hair. And it doesn't really, don't worry too much if your hair maybe didn't curve the right way. I do have a little area right here where it didn't follow exact pattern, but I'm not too worried about it because that's the beauty of hair. It falls in different directions, and once I add the darkest color, we could always help that area out and fix it a little bit. Okay. And the trick to this hair, I do find a lot of people tell me that it's hard, flicking is hard, and it is. It's not that it's hard, it's just getting used to it and finding the way that you can make your strokes very thin and light. I find that if I hug the front part of my marker, the nib, I have more control and I'm able to flick. Some people like to hold the marker from further away and find it easier to flick that way. Really what it is whatever's in your comfort zone and whatever helps you create those fine lines, those really, really thin lines like this. And sometimes it's just practicing that, just creating lines. Okay, the next color I'm going to use, my third color, is the darkest color in the combination, which is the E49, one of my favorite colors to use. And this color right here, we're just going to use it in the areas that would be the darkest, which is where we would find the deepest shadows. We don't use it and pull it through the entire hair. We just use it on these areas so it creates more of a highlight in this area. And I'll show you what I mean. So this hair right here, where her ponytail comes together, is going to be one of my darkest areas. So I'm going to pull this color just right in that area. Okay, as you can see, this, by darkening this area, it lightens up the rest of the hair, but creates that nice shadow. This hair right here seems to be a little bit behind this area right here, so we're going to darken that just a little bit. Then the bottom of the hair, where the tie is holding the hair together, that part is also darkened. and we pull it just slightly out. Where the hair curves at the bottom, we're going to add a few little strokes down there as well. And then right here, this part of the hair seems to be right behind the little ponytail part, so that part of the hair is also going to be a little darker. We're going to create a little shadow right there. Just a little bit in the front of the hair. Okay, and then in this little crease right here, her part of her hair, we're going to pull the color down because that area usually has that shadow. And we're just going to pull it down towards the middle. Again, it's not the entire hair, because what we want to do is create shadows, but we don't want to pull it through the entire hair. Okay, and then we're going to use this line that the artist gave us, and we're going to pull that color just a little bit towards the center of the head. Same thing with this line right here. We're just going to pull it, and then just to make sure that I'm still in focus here, or in the frame, and I'm going to pull these out. Got a little of her ear there. I'm going to turn my image around, and I'm going to pull some of the areas at the top of her head. Follow a few of these lines that the artist has created. Pulling in a little of that the dark strands in that area up here. Okay, and that's it with my dark color. Let me just add just a little bit down here. So now what I do is I go back with my lightest color, in this case the E31, and I'm going to use the E31 to pull that dark color, those areas. I'm going to pull that color a little bit more. But this E31 is going to help soften that really deep 49. So I'm not laying my marker on there to saturate my paper. I'm just pulling the color just very lightly, pulling my marker lightly across those dark areas of the hair, and also the white areas that I left behind. We're going to cover some of those areas. We do want to leave the highlight of some of those white areas. I do like white in my images to create those highlights, but not too much. So we are adding a little bit of this over that E49. And really it's just a matter of stepping back a little bit from your image, taking a look at where the image needs it again, a little coat, and that's it. I think we're done with her. And I also wanted to point out, if you did get a chance to see my video on the skin tones and you see the color right before we do the hair, it might stand out so much that it might make you uncomfortable and make you feel like, wow, it's just too dark for me. But here, as you can see, once you add this hair to the skin color, then it all starts to come together and it doesn't stand out so much. Now her beautiful hair is glowing. It's got this beautiful highlight in her hair, and it's all flowing together, and all she needs now is an adorable little outfit. Okay, so I'm going to move on. My next image that I also colored skin is this guy right here. He's got my darkest skin, but he and just I love the color of the skin and the richness of the skin. And what I want to do is I want to create a little highlight in his hair. Just a very, very low but noticeable highlight in his hair. And the very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to color up this area of this side of his hair where we see that his hair is like in a faded haircut. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add some of those colors that we used on his face. And I'm going to start with the E31. And I'm going to add that just to these side areas where we know it's part of his skin color, also along with the hair. So my next color is going to be the E35, and we're just building up the color in this area, not necessarily to match his face, but just to darken up a little bit of his hair, because we do want to give it a little bit of a highlight. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the E55, and I'm going to use this in his hair to add a little bit of a lighter color, and I'm going to create little C's, letter C, small ones all along his hair. Okay. And I am just creating little C's all around his hair. The artist created some design in the hair. And I usually follow the design on the hair. You could do the C's backwards. It really doesn't matter. We're just going to add texture to his hair. So I just found that making these little C's brings in that beautiful texture in his hair. And that's what I'm going to do with every one of the colors in his hair. So for his hair, we're going to use E55, R23, E27, E29, and E49. Okay, a lot of colors in his hair. And we're going to do the same thing with every color that we use. We're going to create little C's in his hair. And this is the, I love the color of this marker, the YR23, because it has that little, enough of that golden tone, yellow tone, but not too much. We're with the rich colors of the dark brown that we're going to use in his hair. It's going to show enough. Okay. So basically just little C's all around his hair, random areas, some over the color we just placed, which was the E55, and some in other areas where we didn't have the E55. The next color that we're going to use is the E27, and again, we're just building layers of color over what we've already created, not exactly over every single area, but just creating little C's everywhere. With the fine, the tip of your marker, so as thin as you can, create those C's. Some can be thicker. For the most part, we want to keep them just light and thin. This helps create layers of color and different tones in his hair. Okay, and this is the first color that we're actually going to use on the side of his hair, this head right here. And we're going to add just a few little, we're just going to pull some of this color in those areas, kind of little fine lines, dots, a little longer than, not exactly a dot, not exactly a line, more like a teardrop maybe. And we're adding that to the side of his hair. And then the next color is the E29. E29, we're going to pull and actually add more of the E29 than we did of the other colors. So we don't want to cover all the color under here. We do want to let those colors come through, but we do want to add more of this dark rich brown. And after you are done with all the colors, you can again step back, take a look at your image and decide if it needs any darker tones, if it needs more color in certain areas. You can decide what looks best for your image. Even if I leave more of the gold tone, if you don't want so much of the gold tone showing through, then you can just add more color. Again, I'm going to use some of this color. Now these darker tones that we're using, the E29, to add some more color on the sides of his head where he's got that faded look of his hair. And now I'm going to go in with the darkest color that we have, which is the E49. And again, I always stress how much I love this color. It's a battle between the E29 and the E49. I just love how these colors, just adding a little bit of these colors just brings everything together and just finishes off the dark areas and shading enough to make the rest of the colors pop. So you will see me use a lot of those, the E's, the dark E's, the 79, the 59, the 49. Those are all just my favorite. I always feel in hair combinations, I always use one of those dark colors. And I know the popular question with new artists, people new to Copic markers, what colors do I need? It is by preference what you like to color with. For me, what do I need? I definitely need the browns. And I can't tell you, I mean, there might be just a few that I don't use too often, but for me, every single brown is important. I just use my brown colors a lot. Those were the first Copic refills that I purchased for my browns. And then the rest of the colors are what you like to color the most. For me, it's the blue greens. I just love those colors, and the darker colors in pink, like the magenta, raspberry. I love those colors. So those would be my first choice to purchase because I just use those a lot. Okay, so I think I like the way his hair, the little highlights in his hair look. You do have quite a few of this dark areas in his hair that makes those highlights stand out. And I want to keep it that way, so I think we're done with this little guy. And I also wanted to show that his face is now a lot smoother. You could see as the colors start to blend more and they start to dry more, you'll see how they start blending better together. So don't give up, especially on these darker, richer tones. You do have to do a lot more blending, a lot more applying color, just to make sure that we try to get as even as possible on those skin tones. So now we're going to move on to our next little guy, or our next gal, actually. And this is her right here. And her hair color is going to be the E53, E29, and E59. Again, I will show you these colors, and you'll see something in common with all of my color combinations. There's a very light one, a middle tone, and a really dark one. And that is my go-to. I don't stick necessarily to families like E53, 55, 59. I don't necessarily stick to those. I do sometimes. It's based on just what I feel like coloring, but what I mean is that you don't necessarily have to stay with the 53 and go to 55 and 57 or 59. You can go a light color using this second color right here, the 3, then move up to a 5, and then a 9 in whatever the combination is. Sometimes when I post an image that I have colored, people will ask me, what color combination did you use? And sometimes I will be so honest, I don't know. Because I don't pay attention sometimes. I just pick a light color. I pick a dark color, a medium tone, and then I pick a light tone, and medium, light, a dark, and we're good to go. So sometimes if I say I don't know, I'm being really honest, it's because I didn't pay attention to the colors that I used. In this case, I went ahead and actually wrote down all the color combinations that I've put together here. I wrote them on the images that I colored previously. And I know what colors to provide for you in the description below so that you know what colors I used. So as you can see, I used the E53 again, as I said before, to map out my area. Which way is my hair gonna fall? The artist in this case has provided all the lines for us, makes it super easy for us to create the hair here, and then a cute little bun, which also has the lines already created for us at the top. Just following the lines that are created for us, and that is with the E53. Next color is the E25, my mid-tone. And again, we're going to pull that color through the hair, not necessarily exactly over what we've just created. We're just creating more hair strands. Don't worry if you go outside the lines. If you are fuzzy cutting this, it doesn't really matter. These lines right here that the artist has created for me, I like to pull those as I feel that they are a section of the hair, like a part in the hair, and it just makes it easy to pull it through and make it all blend in. Pull down, light strokes, fine strokes, pull up, whatever works best for you. In this case, I tried to kind of work with just not having to turn the image so much for to make it easier for you to watch the coloring. But for me, it's easier to pull than it is to flick away. I feel like my strokes are a lot thicker when I flick away than when I do pulling towards me. Okay. For this, I am going to flip her around because it does make it easier for me. pulling some away from me towards the bottom, some towards the top, and here we go, we've got her little bun and her hair. The next color is the E59. E59 is going to be used only in the darkest areas of the hair. So in this case, these areas where the hair gathers in the front, this little area right here where her bun, we're going to pull some of them towards the middle of her head, because this area back here would be a little darker. And again, using the lines right here that the artist has already created, I pull those lines a little longer, kind of make them a little thinner as they go up, to just kind of make them fade into the rest of the hair. Some up, some down. Not all the way down. We don't want this dark color in the entire, throughout the entire hair. We just want it in the darkest areas. Okay, we do want to leave some highlights, which is the light reflecting on the hair. And we're just going to finish off this top of her hair so that we can flip this around and pull the color through the bun. Again, the inside, the part of the bun that is closest to the head is going to be the darkest. Some of that curl in her bun as well, and some of the different parts and sections in her bun as well. Now we're going to flip this around. We're going to go back with our lightest color and pull this color through the hair to kind of have them blend together and create less of the highlight as far as leaving it white, but we're making the hair glow and blend together. Even more so because we're using different tones of brown. So by pulling this last, the lightest color again through the hair, helps them kind of blend together and just get the same tone. You can see. You can always go back and make it darker if you want, or you can leave it with the beautiful highlights in the hair. It's just up to you. Again, when we first started with this image, her skin was a lot darker. This is the one that we used, the BV20, to darken the areas of her skin. And once you add the color, it just makes it come together. Okay, that is image number 3. We have 2 more to go. Thank you so much for sticking through the entire video. Now we're going to move on to this little guy, and he is going to have the color combination is going to be E53, which is a color we just used, E15, E19, and E29. So this color combination has one more color than usual. We're using 4 colors in this combination, and his hair is going to have like a little reddish tone to it. So we're using a light color and then a brown, dark kind of reddish tone. This is more of a orangey reddish tone, and then we've got the deep dark brown. Okay. So first color we're going to use is going to be the E53, which is going to help us map. This is the little parted section in his hair. Okay, so the hair is going to fall this way. just like the line that the artist has created for us right here. This has more of a curve, and that's why this video is going to be so long, is because I wanted to show you different types of hair and just how to follow the lines that are already provided for you, and the importance of following the lines there. Just makes the hair come together. Not all of it is going to be straight down, so just follow the lines that are already provided for you and pull them through. I just love how these images are perfect, just so wonderful to learn to color because of the wide, large areas of hair and skin. Just makes it so much easier to learn how to flick and how to control your hair strands in the direction that the hair is falling. Okay, so we've mapped out, I'm gonna add one more back here. We've mapped out his hair. Right now he looks like he's a little blonde with some major tan. And now we're going to pull the E15. And we're going to add some of that color in there. Like I said, this is more of like an orangey, brownish tone, because we're going to add some reddish tones into his hair. We're going to pull some of those streaks into his hair. These dark areas right here. Pull down. Pull up. Okay. I am pulling this color more throughout the hair because I do want those reddish tones to come out in his hair. So I do want them to stand out more than any of the other colors. Okay, and then I'm going to flip this just a little bit. Hope you can still see it there. And I'm going to help this hair curve around his head. It just helps add a little more of that red up there on the top. I'm going to add a little bit right here. Okay. So now the next color I'm going to use is the E19. Also has a dark reddish tone into it. It's called Redwood. And we're going to pull this one in there as well, pretty far in there, just because we do want the different tones of the red in there. You can see that. And you can choose to go a totally different route and give them blue hair, purple hair. It's the same. It's the same technique. It is just choosing a dark, a mid-tone, and a light tone to pull through the hair. I do have another video that I created using a digital image, and I colored her hair in like a deep raspberry. You can check out that video as well. I didn't stay within the regular hair colors, and I just did the same thing. Picked darker, lighter colors and then blended them well together with the hair strands, and same technique. There you go. Let me add just a little bit more hair in the back. Okay, so we've got really orangey red hair there, and then now I'm going to bring in this dark brown. Is going to bring those colors, it's just going to make them come together, because this is going to be that dark area in the hair. It's going to tone them down. And I think this little E29 has seen better days. I think it is either low on color or just a little dried out, because I've been using it so much today. So I'm just pulling that color through. I'm not worried too worried about my color right now, my marker, because I'm still going to use that E53 to blend these colors together, to pull them together. So even if it does look a little dry there, I'm not going to worry too much about that. I don't want to stop and go grab another marker, which I do have another E29, but I don't want to stop the video. I'm just going to keep going, and I'm going to show you that that E53 is just going to pull them together. Okay, so see how it toned it down so much? It makes it a little darker on those little edges, but it makes that red tone down just enough to where you can still see the reddish tone in his hair, but it's not just orangey red. Now we're going to grab this E53 and we're going to pull it in those areas, a little light stroke over the middle highlighted area, just to not leave the white, so much of the white popping through. And in the darkest areas we're going to pull the color there. Okay, all done. Actually, let me pull a little bit back here. Okay, all done with image number 4. And my last image for today is my little gal right here, which we're going to color the same way as we did this little guy right here, but I'm going to show you that even though her hair, we colored her like this, we're going to turn it into curly hair, dark hair, and again we're going to start with the E55. And create those little C's that we created with the other image. We're going to disregard those lines that the artist has created for us, because we don't want to give her a pulled back straight hair. We want to give her some beautiful curly hair. And what we're going to do is we're going to pull these little C's all through her hair. Just random little C's, some wide, some really light, but all through her entire hair, even going just right outside of the lines that the artist has created for her hair. Yes, we're going to color outside the lines today. Okay, E55. R23 is our next color. We're going to do the same thing. Pull that R23 because we want some goldish highlighted tones in her hair. Not necessarily that it has the gold tone in her hair, it's just a reflection of the light, and in this case the reflection of the light is going to make her hair look like it has a golden brown tone in it. Okay. Then we're going to do the E27. Let me just find it real quick. E27. Pull the little C's all through her hair, even into her face as well. And the skin tone for this gal right here is the same one, almost the same as the little guy we got as well, just one, this is one tone darker. We use the E18 on there. This little gal doesn't have the E18 to make it darker around the edges of her skin, which is like right under her hair. Just the darkest color is used is the E15 is the darkest color I used on there. It looks a little darker just because the edges on the other one is one shade darker. Please make sure you leave me some feedback. I don't mind any kind of comments. I want to know if these are helpful. What can I do to make them easier and more helpful for you, these videos? I really enjoy connecting with people who love and have the same passion for art as I do. So please leave me any feedback, good or bad. I like to learn, and I definitely want to make these videos. I just started making them. I have quite just a few, and I started creating them because I really love to color, and I can just show you how I do things. Doesn't necessarily mean I know what I'm doing, but I just can share with you how I color my images. And that's how we learn. I love to watch other people color and learn from them, their techniques, their colors, and I love to share with you what I do with mine. So I'm learning with you as well. So as I said, I appreciate any feedback that you can provide for me. Also, if you see any of my cards on Instagram, I'm on Instagram as creative_candy for you, and you can also look at those projects that I share with you and let me know if you'd like for me to do a coloring video of anything that I've provided on there. There are some of the requests that I've gotten are in the works. So I will be coming out with some new videos pretty soon, new ideas. also have a Facebook page, also called Creative Candy for You, Paper Crafting. I don't use it too much, but I do want to create more lives on there. So if you want to color along with me or ask me questions while I color, that is also, those are also fun for me. So let me know. Okay, I like to add more of the darkest color, the E49. And basically what we did is we just disregarded the lines that the artist gave us, just gave us kind of like, use the outside lines to follow the pattern of the hair, but we gave her some beautiful curls and highlights in her hair as well. And that's it. I'm going to bring back all those images that we colored skin, we colored hair, and now we're all done. Image number 1, image number 2, then I believe it was number 3, number 4, and I hope these all fit in here, number 5. I hope you enjoyed coloring along with me or just watching my coloring. Again, I will be linking the digital stamps from the greeting form that I used to create this video, so that you can also purchase them, enjoy them, and color along with me. Thank you so much for joining me today. This was a lot of fun, and I hope you've learned something from me. Again, don't forget to share your feedback with me, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.